I want to leave my mark on this world. And God chose me because he knows that I'm up for the task.
I got my energy back, yeah. I'm on that frequency, mentally, spiritually, elevating, yeah. To my
What's good, my frequency family? I'm Ella the Elevated. Welcome back to my channel. This is my platform where I am giving you the formula on how to stop being the editor and become the author of your life story. Thank you for everybody who has clicked on this thumbnail. And if you clicked on this thumbnail, then I am led to believe that you feel in your heart and in your spirit that you are a chosen one. And I just want to talk to you really quickly about the pathway and the journey that it takes with being a chosen one. The chosen path that God calls some of us to walk is a very lonely path. It's a path where you have to go into a place of deep isolation, where you have to let go of certain friends and certain family members even, and begin to go into this deep place of silence, where you can hear only from God, only from your God, only from the Most High on the steps that you need to take and the path that he is laying out for you and what it looks like to actually walk that path. And I want to talk to you really briefly today, just to encourage you to not get lost in the darkness and the silence, and how to take that moment and turn it into a moment of strength and growth and evolution for yourself. I truly believe that I am a person who was called to walk a very narrow path, a path that very few has traveled. And I'm honored to be called to walk that path, but that doesn't mean that it's easy, because it's not. There are times in my life right now where I feel very isolated. I feel very overwhelmed with the task that's laid ahead of me. But I also feel honored that I've been chosen. When you look around and you see people who are the walking dead, who seem like they have no direction, you have to stop for a moment and just thank God that you were giving this vision and you were given this gift of knowing and understanding and growing. But it is a path that we all have to embrace with strength and with determination in order to fulfill the moment, to meet the moment and to fulfill the task that was laid out before us. So today, if you feel like you are a chosen one, if you feel like you are going through something similar to what I'm talking about right now, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and come back. We talk about all things energy, all things evolution here, manifesting our greatest dreams, and I would love to see you here more often. But when you think about being chosen, if you know anything about being chosen, you know that you are going to be taken out of the social circle that you're in, and you're going to be put into a place of isolation. And in that isolation, you may feel loneliness. You may feel like you've been forgotten, overlooked, passed over, but it's really not like that at all. In that moment, that's a place where you can get closer to God. In that moment, that's a place where you can deal with healing, and you can heal some of the past traumas that haven't been dealt with. And it is in that place, it is in that space where you can come closer to understanding yourself, the world, and others in a more meaningful way. See, because there's this higher calling on your life, God needs you to heal because he needs you to be whole. He needs you to be whole in order to fulfill this mission, because it's a tall order. And you can't heal and become whole when you're constantly surrounded by the noise of everyday life. So sometimes you have to be taken out of the mix, and you need to spend some time alone. And during that time, you need to spend time in prayer. You need to spend time in meditation, so you can really begin to understand yourself and build your relationship between you and God. Now, I know that being alone can feel uncomfortable. You can even get restless sometimes because you're not in the daily hustle and bustle of things. So you can begin to feel like you're forgotten, like you've been abandoned. But I promise you that's not what it is. In this moment of silence, it is a place of restoration. It's a place where ideas are born and dreams are born and growth happens. True growth happens. True understanding happens. And you build this very unique relationship with God. And when it's all said and done, you emerge as a brand new you. Now understand that even if you've been chosen and you've been called to take on a task that seems greater and bigger than anything you've ever accomplished before in your life, you have a choice. I mean, thank God for the power of free will. You have a choice. You don't have to accept the task, but you should, because very few of us are called. So it's an honor to be called, and it's not something that you want to take lightly or feel like you can, let this opportunity pass you by and you'll catch the next one. When you have that strong pulling, and a lot of people don't understand what it is you're talking about, and why are you acting weird, and why are you so quiet, and why don't you want to go out anymore, and why would you rather stay home? And when you just begin to shift, it's okay if other people don't understand, because again, very few have been called for this challenge to meet the moment of something. We don't know what it is. Everybody's calling can be different, but you were called to meet a certain moment, and it's this greatness that it's unfathomable, and you're wondering, like, where is this going to take us? And you begin to feel a little weird because you don't feel like your normal human self anymore. You start to be in a room full of people, and yet you feel like you don't connect with anybody in that room. That's when you know it's time to let some of these people go. It could be friends, it could be family members, it could be colleagues, it could be neighbors, but that's when you know it's time to let some people go. When you are putting yourself in a space where you no longer feel comfortable in that space, but you're staying there because that's your surrounding, that's your group, that's your tribe. If I'm not with them, who am I going to be with? You need to be in isolation. And you need to be okay to step away and just be in isolation. That's when you are able to receive these divine downloads, and you allow God to do the work in you that needs to be done to prepare you to fulfill this mission, this greatness that He's calling you towards. That's where revelations are shared with you, and it all begins to make sense in your head. And you might start to talk a little crazy, so you might have to move in silence for a while, because people won't understand. They're not getting the same downloads that you're getting. They don't have access to the information that you have access to. So you have to be a little silent sometimes. You can't get on the phone and kiki and laugh it up with everybody, because your conversation has changed. Your knowledge has changed. You're having an awakening. You're having a revelation, right? So you have to be okay with being by yourself. But just know that you were chosen for reasons, and great ones before you have walked this path. And I'm not talking about the celebrities that we see today who are bigger than life and then they fall when they do something crazy. I'm talking about the names that live on to this day. The inventors, the creators, the philosophers, the writers, the authors, the people who are living on in history till this day. They were called. They had a calling, they had an awakening, and they followed it. And if you feel like you are a chosen one and you are being called in this moment, that is such an honor and a blessing, because very few are called. Very few are called. So go into that place of preparation with God. You will be tested, but just know that you are being strengthened for the journey ahead, because you're going to need to armor up. You're going to need to have, some tenacity and thick skin, and be able to not get distracted by what's coming your way, because again, you have the download. Other people don't have that same knowledge and understanding. So when you do emerge from that space of isolation and deep meditation, you're going to have to be able to operate and execute this task that you've been given, knowing that people around you have no idea what you're doing and why. But this journey requires you to be steadfast, to be focused, and to be present to meet the moment. When you feel like it's all overwhelming, just stop. Ask for direction each step of the way that can lead you on this path to your destiny and to your greatness. But there's just this time, there's this moment that I feel like I'm in where it's time to detach from old friends, old habits, old ways of speaking and thinking, and it's just a brand new me that's emerging. When I'm in certain spaces, I don't feel like I belong anymore. You know, when I see my phone ring, I don't answer the phone as much anymore because I feel like it's time for me to go into this space of isolation. And I don't want to go there. You know, I don't want to sit in this space and just, you know, be a hermit and shut off the world completely. But at the same time, I want to reach my goal. I want to fulfill my journey. I want to leave something behind. I want to leave my mark on this world. And God chose me because he knows that I'm up for the task. He knows that there is something great in me that he put inside of me, and he wants to make sure that I fulfill that mission. And in order to do that, it is time to go into a space of complete isolation. It's time for me to shut out the world and the noise and the distractions and to focus solely on myself, my growth, my healing, and to focus on developing a closer relationship with God. That is where I am right now. And if you clicked on this video and you feel like you are chosen and there is something inside of you that needs to come out, I'm telling you now to go into that place of isolation. Go into that place of isolation so that you can get the download and you can emerge as a brand new you. The time is now. Don't wait any longer. Don't ignore what you hear inside of you and what you feel in your gut. What you feel is necessary to share. What you feel is necessary to do. And it can be a complete, 180 on what you were doing. And people may look at you and think that you're confused. Why are you going this way when you said you were going that way? Don't try to prove anything to anyone. If you feel this calling, follow your intuition. Follow your intuition and go into your place of isolation. Do your meditation, do your prayers, read your Bible, read the word, consume information however you need to get the information that you need, whatever you need to do to connect with the Most High. He will give you the information that you need. The universe is already shaping out situations and circumstances to open up the doors and opportunities for you to walk through them. But go into that place of isolation right now and do the work to prepare yourself so that you can be whole, so that you can be ready for this fight and for this challenge. So that you can emerge as a person of strength, of confidence, as someone that other people can look up to as an example. We need more of them in this world. We definitely need more of them in this community of Black and brown people. So if you feel like you have a calling, I just want to encourage you to embrace it right now, because I feel a shift. I feel a really big shift coming. And I know it's coming and it's brewing inside of me. And if it's brewing inside of you, I always told you I'm doing the work with you. I'm right here with you. I'm figuring it out with you. So real short and sweet today. Real short and sweet today, because my mind is just in such a space. It's in such a space where I'm actually going to wrap this video up and go to my Zen den and do some meditating. I just want to block out everything, and I need to hear from God. I need a word right now. I'm not sad. I'm not, confused. I'm very clear on what he's pulling me towards, but it's so different than what I've been doing that it's gonna change my life. It's gonna change my life and take me in a totally different direction. So I wanna be ready. I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything and I'm not forgetting to do something, and I'm prepared. And, I want to make sure that all my ducks are in a row. I've dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's, and I'm ready. I want to be ready. I don't want to walk into this all willy-nilly, just, it'll work out. Even though I have faith and I always take inspired steps knowing that I'll be fine. But this pull that is coming on my life, I feel like it needs more preparation than I've ever given anything before. I feel like it needs to be more focused and more centered, and it's building a brand new me. Whatever this is that I'm stepping into, it's not going to be the same old LA from yesterday. This is a brand new me, and I'm excited about it. But I also want to be successful. I also want to make sure that I'm only taking guidance from my Most High, because, you know, little sneaky devils come in and start dangling carrots in your face, and you may think that it's coming from God and it's coming from somewhere else. So that's why it's more important than ever for me to clear my complete space so I can only hear from him. And that's the beauty of embracing that isolation, because when you're fasting and you're praying and you're meditating, you're opening yourself up, where you're purifying yourself, and you're opening yourself up where you can hear from him directly. And when you're chosen, that's all he's waiting for you to do, is just listen. And this is a space now where I'm in listening mode. I'm listening, and things are being revealed, and I'm excited about it. But I encourage you, if you feel like you are being chosen, you are being called, you are being directed towards something in life, take this moment to go into isolation. Shut your phone off, shut social media off. Practice your meditation daily. Maybe do some fasting. Purify yourself. Let the drinking go, the recreational drugs, whatever you do. Chill out on all of that for a minute and just go into this place of isolation. You don't have to wait for the new year to come in to do a brand new thing. Do it now. And let's see where it's going. And again, drop it in the comments and let me know whatever you're willing to share. Let me know, like, have you been feeling this? What have you been doing about it? What do you think it is? What do you think your calling is? I know for me, it's always been helping people. It's always been helping people. I was in a lighting store the other day, and this girl was outside, like, crying like crazy. And I would play the video, but I recorded it. I record everything, but I'm not going to play it because I don't have permission to put their faces on the screen, and I don't want to get in trouble, and they were minors. So this girl, she was probably like 15 years old, and she's out there crying in this guy's arm, and he's holding her and consoling her. And I go outside, stop making my purchase, and I go outside, and she says, my little sister ran away. Her little sister's like 13. And I'm like, well, what's going on? She's like, well, she's not happy at home. A family dispute, I think is what she said. And she said that she ran away. So she's like, I'm out here looking for her. And so we all start coming outside and looking for this girl. And I'm like, look, keep calling her. When it gets dark, she's gonna need someplace to go. Like, where are you gonna sleep? You don't have a car, you're on foot, you don't have money. So I took her phone number. The owner of the store I was in took her number, and we're all just like, we're going to blow her phone up. We're going to drive around. What is she wearing? She gave us pictures of the girl. Like, we put together this whole campaign looking for this girl. So I drove around a little bit. I didn't see her. I called her phone. It was going to voicemail or something, saying that it was turned off or something. So I couldn't find her. But like 45 minutes later, the young girl called me and said, I found my sister. She was over talking to a police officer, and they found her. So great. So I told her, listen, I don't know what you guys are going through, but keep my number, lock it in. I've done mentoring. I was a part of the Big Brothers Big Sisters of America Club when I lived back home in Michigan. I've always mentored young girls, and I've wanted to get back into it since I moved here to Georgia. So I said, listen, lock my number in. Once you guys figure it out and things settle down, feel free to call me. So the next day, she called me. She gave her sister the phone. She said, talk to her. So I talked to her, and I said, what's going on? Are you okay? You out there in the middle of the street, girl, by yourself. What's going on? Where you think you're going? How long you think you're going to last out here? Like, that's not the way to deal with it. Whatever it is you're going through, that's not the way to deal with it, to just, run away from your family unless you're being harmed. But I spoke to her, and she shared some things with me, and I just told her, listen, I have always mentored young girls, and I get it. I've run away before when I was 13, 14 years old, called myself running away, so I can remember that. I can relate. I can think about, how I felt and what I thought I was gonna do, like it was yesterday. I can remember those days. So we talked for a good little moment, and I just told her, hey, lock my number in. If you ever feel like you need someone to talk to before you just go out here in the middle of nowhere and put yourself in harm's way where someone can take advantage of you, I said, call me. I said, if you want me to meet your mom, I'll meet your mother so she knows who I am, and you know, she knows that you would be safe if you're calling me and you're talking to me or whatnot. But just being in that lighting store at that moment and meeting these young girls, when I was just thinking to myself, I want to get back into mentoring young girls. I really want to build a space, a center where young girls can come to learn about health and, you know, business and resumes and interviewing and taking care of your skin and how to dress. I've wanted that for the longest. I've been thinking about that for a while, and then I meet these, you know, this young girl, and now I've only spoken to them like twice on the phone, but I plan to keep in touch and see what I can do to get them internships and, you know, find out what their interests are. So could be the start of building that there. But I say all that to say, when you're sitting in isolation and you're sitting in silence and you're asking God, what is it that you want me to do? And then things start to happen, synchronicities, just pay attention. And then I can go back and work on the plan maybe to build that center. That center that I've always wanted to help young girls, you know. Maybe this is him showing me that there's still such a need out here for that type of, you know, environment for young people to have a place, a safe place to come to. So watch for the signs, watch for the synchronicities. He will open up the doors and lay everything out for you in order to make that happen. But go into that place of isolation and listen. Just spend time listening. Stop talking. Stop trying to explain things to people. Just go into this place where you get the download, and then you can decode it as you go. That's where I'm at today. That's really all I wanted to share with you guys. So much on my mind right now, but I'm still sticking to my commitment of uploading a video once a week. So there you have it. Drop a comment, leave a like, give a thumbs up. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. I would love to hear from the chosen ones, the ones who get it. I would love to hear how you're dealing with this moment and what you plan to do to meet this moment. And I would love to see you when you emerge. So keep in touch, leave a comment. I'm always here. But for now, that does it for me. So do it for you.